The Azuri species ruled most of the galactic arm for centuries. Their tall blue forms and advanced technology made them confident in their superiority. Humans were simply the newest race to join the Galactic Council. Barely worth noticing, Stella, Carter sat quietly in the corner of the alien classroom. Her small human frame looked even tinier among the towering Azuri students at Galactic University. Most species avoided humans. Humans came from a harsh world called Earth, a planet with crushing gravity, powerful storms, and dangerous wildlife. But the Azuri never considered Earth special. Professor Nara glided to the front of the room, her shimmering blue skin catching the light. Her 6 fingers tapped the display screen, bringing up images of various planetary defense systems. Today we discuss planetary security measures for developing species. Professor Nara announced, each student will analyze one species' homeworld. The Azuri students received assignments for impressive worlds with massive defense systems. Stella received Earth. The classroom filled with amused chirps. Earth had no official defenses. It was not worth studying. Amy Brooks, the only other human exchange student, caught Stella's eye across the room. They shared a knowing look. The aliens had no idea when Stella stood to present her assignment the following week. Professor Nara seemed bored already, preparing feedback about Earth's inadequate defenses. Earth has no orbital weapon platforms. Stella began. No planetary shield. No unified defense force. The Azuri students chittered with amusement. Professor Nara nodded as if confirmed in her assessment. Instead, Stella continued, Earth has humans. She displayed the first image, a simple thunderstorm. On most council worlds, this weather would trigger evacuation. Humans call it Tuesday. Nervous laughter rippled through the class. Humans evolved on a death world, Stella explained, showing Earth's gravity measurement. We carry the equivalent of Azuri combat armor in our bones. Our muscles develop naturally stronger than most species. Enhanced soldiers, Professor Nara frowned. Yet you have no unified defense. Stella smiled. We have something better, adaptation. She displayed images of human settlements in deserts, frozen wastelands, and dense jungles. Humans thrive in environments that would kill most species. She showed historical battle scenes. For thousands of years, humans fought only other humans, developing combat tactics against equals, not weaker species. Earth never needed external defenses because the threat was always internal. The classroom grew uncomfortably quiet. The average human can survive injuries that would kill most Azuri instantly. Stella displayed medical records. Human children play games that would qualify as military training on other worlds. The Azuri students shifted nervously in their seats. Some moved away from Amy, who watched with a small smile. Your assessment is flawed, Professor Nara argued. If humans are so formidable, why do you not rule more systems? Because we choose peace, Stella answered. But make no mistake, our homeworld needs no defense systems. The Council classified Earth as a death world for a reason, not to protect humans, but to warn others. As Stella finished her presentation, something changed in the classroom. The amused chittering was gone. The Azuri students now watched the humans with new eyes, not with respect exactly, but with caution. Later that evening, in the dormitory commons, Stella met with Amy. You scared them, Amy said, sipping her drink. Stella shook her head. Just educated them. The Azuri thought Earth was defenseless. They needed to understand that humans are the defense. Humans aren't feared because we've been peaceful, Stella said. But they should understand why word spread quickly throughout the university. Alien students began watching human exchange students with new interest. Stella noticed Azuri students would move aside when she walked down hallways, giving her more space than before. Professor Nara called Stella to her office the next day. The tall blue alien seemed troubled. Your presentation has caused quite the stir, she said. Many students have requested transfers to Earth Studies programs. The military science department has asked for your research notes. Stella felt uneasy. I only presented facts from public records. Facts that were overlooked. Professor Nara replied. The Council has always viewed Earth as a developing world in need of protection. Now they wonder if perhaps it is the other species who need protection from Earth. That evening, a message arrived on Stella's communication device. The Azuri High Council requested her presence at their central chamber the next day. The message contained no explanation, just coordinates and a time. Amy looked, worried when Stella told her. It might be a trap, she suggested. Maybe we revealed too much. Stella packed her things, carefully selecting formal attire, appropriate for the council meeting. Whatever happened next would change human-galactic relations, forever. She wondered if she'd made a terrible mistake. The next morning, a sleek Azuri transport arrived to collect her. The pilot avoided eye contact, keeping a careful distance. Stella noticed the ship had military-grade shielding far beyond what was needed for a simple student transport. The journey to the Azuri High Council took 3 hours. The massive structure floated in orbit around the Azuri homeworld. Its gleaming spires stretched outward like reaching fingers, a symbol of power and authority. Stella was escorted through grand hallways past guards who watched her with new wariness. She entered the council chamber where 7 tall Azuri sat in a semicircle. Their blue skin had patterns indicating age and wisdom. They wore formal robes with symbols of office. Stella, Carter of Earth Representative Zoll, announced, "You have been summoned to clarify matters regarding your species." Stella stood tall despite being physically dwarfed by everyone in the room. "I am ready to answer your questions," she said. "The humans were not what we expected," Representative Zoll said. "Your presentation suggests we've misunderstood your species." "Potential." Stella nodded. "We come in peace, but we come from Earth. The conditions that shaped us cannot be ignored." "Then we have much to discuss," Representative Zoll replied, "and much to reconsider about humanity's place in the galaxy." The Azuri delegation gathered in the university simulation chamber. Their tall blue forms looked anxious as technicians adjusted environmental controls. Stella stood with Professor Nara, observing the 12 delegates who would soon visit Earth. "The chamber will now simulate standard Earth conditions," Professor Nara announced. "Please remain calm and report any distress immediately." The gravity slowly increased. The Azuri delegates staggered, several reaching for support rails. Their normally graceful movements became labored and awkward. "This is standard Earth gravity," Stella explained. "This is what humans consider normal." One delegate, a military officer named Commander Vex, straightened with visible effort. "How do humans move so easily under such pressure?" "We evolved with it," Stella replied. "Our muscles and skeletal structure developed under these conditions from birth." The temperature rose several degrees and humidity increased. The Azuri skin, which normally shimmered, began to dull slightly, as their natural moisture evaporated faster than usual. Several delegates activated personal hydration systems. Earth has regional variations. Stella continued. "Some areas are much hotter, some colder. Most populated regions fall within this range." The delegates looked increasingly uncomfortable. Commander Vex approached Stella, moving with deliberate, careful steps. "And humans consider these conditions comfortable?" Stella nodded. "Most do, yes. Though we have preferences for different climates." The simulation continued with demonstrations of Earth weather patterns. Moderate rainfall, changes in barometric pressure, and day-night cycles. The Azuri delegates struggled to adapt, even though the simulation was mild compared to Earth extremes. Representative Joel, who led the delegation, seemed troubled. "How do your children survive in such conditions? They play in them." Stella answered, showing videos of human children running through rain, jumping into snow, and climbing trees. "Our young develop strength and resilience through natural activity." After 2 hours, the simulation ended. The delegates looked exhausted. Their normally erect postures had wilted. Their movements were sluggish. Several required medical attention for muscle strain. "This was a mild simulation," Professor Nara explained. "Many Earth regions experience more extreme conditions." Commander Vex approached Stella. "Your people evolved in this environment, yes?" Stella confirmed, though simplified for the simulation. "Real Earth has greater extremes." "No wonder humans develop such physical capabilities," the commander mused. "Our initial assessment was severely lacking. You come from a fortress world." The next day, Stella met with the delegation again, this time to discuss Earth social structures. and human psychology. The delegates had recovered from the physical simulation but remained subdued. Commander Vex displayed images of human sporting events. These activities are recreational. Humans voluntarily engage in physical competition that risks injury. Stella nodded. Sports teach teamwork, strategy, and mental fortitude. They help channel competitive instincts in constructive ways. Representative Joel seemed concerned. Your recreational activities resemble our military training, yet humans claim to be peaceful. How do you reconcile these contradictions? Humans contain multitudes, Stella explained. We can be aggressive and compassionate, competitive and cooperative. Our strength comes not just from our bodies, but from our adaptability. The delegation studied videos of Earth cities' transportation systems and infrastructure. Their questions revealed their changing perspective. They no longer viewed Earth as primitive, but as remarkably resilient. Your buildings resist earthquakes, floods, extreme temperatures, Commander Vex noted. Your infrastructure includes redundancies and emergency systems. Your entire civilization is designed to endure harsh conditions. Stella had never considered this. Earth development had always included disaster preparation. It seemed normal to her during the cultural briefing. Stella explained human diversity. This aspect particularly troubled the Azuri, who were more homogeneous as a species. Your people hold contradictory beliefs yet function as a unified species. Representative Joel observed. This seems inefficient. Stella smiled. Diversity gives us strength. Different perspectives lead to innovation and adaptation. When challenges arise, humans approach them from multiple angles. The delegation struggled with this concept. The Azuri valued uniformity and consensus. Human individualism seemed chaotic to them. Before concluding the briefing, Stella demonstrated human medical treatments, showing how humans recovered from injuries that would permanently disable most Azuri. The delegates watched in silent amazement. Humans heal broken bones, Commander Vex said with astonishment. Even severe fractures. Yes, Stella confirmed. Our bodies are constantly regenerating. Even damaged organs can partially repair themselves. This explains much, Representative Zoll noted. Your species' persistence, your resilience, your willingness to take risks. You can afford injury in ways we cannot. That evening, Stella received a classified briefing from Earth Diplomatic Services. The sudden Azuri interest had prompted concern. Human intelligence agencies reported increased Azuri military activities. Strategic analysts worried the Azuri might see humans as a potential threat. Stella was instructed to emphasize human peaceful intentions while gathering information about Azuri military capabilities. Her simple presentation had escalated into a diplomatic situation with potential security implications. The next morning, Stella met with Commander Vex alone at his request. The military officer seemed less formal, more direct. Your people are formidable, he said. We underestimated humans greatly. Stella maintained her diplomatic approach. Humans seek peaceful cooperation, not conflict. Commander Vex studied her. Before your presentation, humans were considered unimportant. Now some Azuri fear your kind could threaten our dominance. That was never my intention. Stella replied honestly. The commander nodded. I believe you, but intentions change with circumstances. The question my superiors ask is, what would humans do if threatened? Would they remain peaceful? Stella considered her answer carefully. Humans defend themselves when necessary. Our history shows we fight fiercely when threatened, but we prefer alliance to conflict. The commander seemed to accept this. Earth delegation leaves tomorrow. They will experience your world firsthand. I will accompany them. Tell me, human Stella, what should I truly expect? The truth, Stella replied. Earth will seem harsh by Azuri standards. The gravity will tire you. The weather may frighten you, but humans will welcome you as honored guests. We value new perspectives and friendships. Commander Vex seemed to relax slightly. Your honesty is appreciated. Many species would hide their advantages. You displayed yours openly. That evening, final preparations were made for the Azuri delegation. Earth governments had arranged a comprehensive tour, including major cities, environmental preserves, and historical sites. Stella would accompany them as cultural liaison. Amy visited Stella's quarters with news from other human students across the galaxy. Similar revelations about human physiology were occurring at other institutions. The galactic perception of humanity was shifting rapidly. Did we make a mistake? Amy asked. Are we safer? Being underestimated? Stella shook her head. Misunderstanding leads to fear. Eventually, the truth emerges. Better to control the revelation than have it discovered in crisis. The journey to Earth would take one standard week. The delegation would travel aboard an Azuri diplomatic vessel modified to accommodate human environmental needs. Stella packed her belongings, preparing for the historic journey. Professor Nara visited before departure. Your actions have changed everything, she said. For centuries, the Azuri viewed humans as simply another species. Now we recognize you as unique. Perhaps dangerous, perhaps valuable, certainly significant. Stella felt the weight of responsibility. Humans aren't seeking dominance. Professor, we want equal partnership. The professor nodded. I believe you. But change creates uncertainty. Uncertainty creates fear. You must help both sides navigate this transition. As Stella boarded the Azuri vessel, she noticed subtle changes in how the crew interacted with her. They maintained careful distance, their movements precise and controlled. No longer did they treat her as an inferior species. They watched her with new awareness. Commander Vex welcomed her aboard, directing her to special quarters designed for human comfort. The room included enhanced structural supports and reinforced furniture, acknowledging human density and strength. Your presentation opened many eyes, he said. Some see humans as potential threats, others as valuable allies. I see you as teachers. We have much to learn from a species that thrives where others perish. As the ship prepared for departure, Stella watched the university through a viewport. Soon she'd return to Earth, accompanying aliens who now viewed her homeworld not as primitive, but as formidable. The simple student had become an ambassador. The overlooked species had become a focus of galactic attention. The humans weren't feared before, because they weren't understood. Now, understanding brought respect, caution, and possibility. Stella hoped it would eventually bring true partnership. The journey home would be just the beginning. The Azuri diplomatic vessel entered Earth orbit after a week of space travel. Stella stood at the observation window, watching her home planet grow larger. The blue and green sphere seemed ordinary to her, but she now saw it through Azuri eyes, a death world that produced resilient life. Commander Vex joined her at the viewport. His tall blue form moved with careful precision in the ship's artificial gravity. Final preparations for descent are complete, he said. Our landing craft have been reinforced for Earth conditions. Stella nodded. The delegation will experience approximately 20% stronger gravity than you're accustomed to. The landing site in North America has moderate climate for human standards. The commander studied Earth with professional assessment. My military training included extreme environment survival. None of it prepared me for what your species considers normal. 12 Azuri delegates, including Representative Zoll, gathered in the shuttle bay. Each wore environmental suits with enhanced support systems and atmospheric filters. They looked like they were preparing for a hazardous mission, not a diplomatic visit. The descent began. The shuttle shuddered as it entered Earth's atmosphere. The Azuri delegates gripped their restraints nervously. Stella felt the familiar increase in weight as gravity strengthened. To her, it meant home. To the aliens, it represented the first challenge of many. The landing was smooth. The shuttle settled onto the dedicated diplomatic landing zone outside Washington, D.C. Human diplomatic personnel waited on the tarmac, flags flying. Stella saw the gathering through the viewports and honor guard government officials and media representatives. Is it safe to disembark? Representative Scholl asked, studying the external sensors. Stella smiled. Earth air is perfectly breathable. The temperature is mild for this region. Your environmental suits will compensate for gravity differences. The delegation hesitated. Then Commander Vex stood. I will exit first, he announced. As military attaché, security assessment is my responsibility. The commander moved carefully toward the airlock, each step deliberate in the strengthened gravity. When the door opened, Earth, sunlight streamed in brighter. Then the Azuri homeworld commander Vex paused, then stepped onto the ramp. The assembled humans watched curiously as the tall blue alien emerged. The commander stood for a moment, adjusting to the full force of Earth gravity, his environmental suit whirred as support systems engaged. Then he descended the ramp, each step measured and controlled. Representative Zoll followed with the remaining delegates. Their movements were stiff. Their normally graceful forms struggled with the increased weight of their bodies. Earth gravity pulled at them constantly, an invisible force they could never ignore. Susan Mitchell, the Earth diplomatic secretary, approached. "Welcome to Earth," she said. "We are honored by your visit." The Azuri delegates bowed formally, though the gesture lacked its usual grace. The gravity made even simple movements taxing. Representative Zoll spoke. "We appreciate your hospitality. The Azuri High Council seeks greater understanding between our people's media cameras recorded everything. The first official Azuri delegation to Earth, the beginning of a new diplomatic relationship." The human observers noticed the aliens' discomfort, their labored movements, their careful steps. The delegation was escorted to ground transportation specially, modified with reinforced suspension and environmental controls. Inside the vehicles, the Azuri delegates relaxed slightly, though Earth gravity continued to press upon them. Their first destination was the Diplomatic Reception Center. The human hosts had prepared a formal welcome with adjusted accommodations. Susan Mitchell explained, "We have modified the facility for your comfort. Lower gravity chambers have been installed for your private use." Commander Vex walked beside Stella, observing everything with military precision. The surrounding buildings, the infrastructure, the humans moving effortlessly in conditions the Azuri found challenging. "Your architecture is remarkably robust," he noted. Stella hadn't considered this. Earth buildings needed to withstand storms, earthquakes, and temperature fluctuations. Such resilience was standard. "We build to last through environmental challenges," she explained. The reception center featured reinforced furniture, wider doorways, and climate controls adjusted for Azuri comfort. Despite these accommodations, the delegates moved cautiously. Their bodies constantly fought against Earth's pull. That evening, a formal dinner welcomed the delegation. Earth officials presented cultural exchanges and proposed cooperative initiatives. The Azuri delegates participated, though fatigue showed in their movements. Commander Vex, seated beside Stella, spoke quietly. "Your people move through this gravity as though it doesn't exist. Your children run and jump without effort. They know nothing else," Stella replied. "This is normal for us." Later, as the delegation retired to their quarters with lowered gravity, Representative Zoll approached Stella. "Tomorrow we tour your city," she said. "We wish to observe humans in their natural environment." The next morning, the delegation prepared for their first full Earth day. Despite rest in reduced gravity chambers, they moved stiffly. Their bodies, unaccustomed to Earth conditions, protested the constant strain. The tour began with a visit to a public park. The Azuri delegates watched in amazement as human children played running, climbing, swinging from structures. The physical activity that humans considered recreational seemed exhausting to the aliens. A young girl, perhaps 7 years old, approached the delegation, curious about the blue visitors. "Hello," she said. "Are you from space?" Representative Zoll bent awkwardly to address the child. "Yes, we come from another world." The girl smiled broadly, showing missing teeth. "I'm Olivia," she announced, proudly. "Do you want to see me do a cartwheel?" Before anyone could respond, Olivia performed a perfect cartwheel, her small body flipping effortlessly through Earth's gravity. The Azuri delegates watched in astonishment. Such casual display of strength and coordination in a child. Commander Vex leaned toward Stella. "Your young already demonstrate remarkable physical capabilities. They learn through play," Stella explained, developing strength, balance, and coordination naturally. The tour continued through the city. The delegation observed humans going about daily activities, climbing stairs, carrying packages, jogging along pathways. all ordinary human behaviors that demonstrated extraordinary physical capability from the Azuri perspective. At midday, rain began to fall. The Azuri delegates moved quickly toward shelter, but many humans continued their activities, walking through the downpour without concern. Children splashed in puddles laughing. "Your people ignore weather conditions," Commander Vex noted with surprise. "Minor rain is hardly noticed," Stella explained. "We adapt to changing conditions rather than avoiding them." That afternoon, the delegation visited a construction site. Workers lifted materials, operated machinery, and moved through partially finished structures with casual confidence. The Azuri observed with growing understanding of human capabilities. One worker demonstrated lifting equipment, hoisting a beam that would require mechanical assistance for an Azuri. The delegates exchanged meaningful glances, their perception of humanity shifting further. The day concluded with a visit to a sports facility where athletes trained. The displays of human strength, endurance, and impact tolerance left the Azuri delegation speechless. Commander Vex recorded everything, his military assessment clearly influenced by what he witnessed. That evening, during a private dinner, Representative Joel spoke frankly. "We have misjudged your species for generations. The conditions of Earth have produced beings of remarkable resilience. The Galactic Council must reevaluate humanity's potential contribution." Stella maintained her diplomatic approach. "Humans seek peaceful partnership." "We have much to learn from the Azuri and other species, Representative." Joel studied her. "The question my government now considers is not what humans can learn from us, but what we must learn from humans. Your adaptability, your physical capabilities, your tolerance for conditions others find intolerable. These are valuable traits." Commander Vex added more directly. "Some among my military colleagues view humans with concern. A species that evolved on such a world that considers our normal gravity weak, that tolerates radiation and pressure variations so easily. Such a species could dominate if they chose aggression." Stella recognized the implied question. Are humans peaceful by nature or by circumstance? The Azuri feared what humans might become if their ambitions grew. Humans have fought countless wars against other humans, she acknowledged. "Our history contains much violence, but we've learned that cooperation achieves more than conflict. We seek alliance, not dominance." The Azuri delegates seemed to accept this, but Stella knew questions remained. The galaxy had suddenly discovered that humanity represented something unexpected, a species with untapped potential for both creation and destruction. As the delegation prepared for their third day on Earth, news arrived from the Azuri homeworld. The High Council had authorized expanded human exchange programs. More Earth representatives would be welcomed at Azuri institutions. Human expertise in adaptation, environmental engineering, and physical training would be formally requested. The galaxy was adjusting to a new understanding. Humans weren't feared until an Earth student showed why their planet didn't need defending. The species that evolved on a death world had suddenly become the most interesting beings in the sector. The council chamber fell silent as Stella waited. 7 pairs of large Azuri eyes studied her with new intensity. The central council member, Representative Zoll, leaned forward. "Human Stella Carter, we have reviewed your academic presentation about Earth. Most concerning is the revelation about human physiology. Is it true that your species regularly survives conditions fatal to Azuri?" Stella nodded. "Yes. Humans evolved on a world with higher gravity, stronger radiation, and extreme climate variations. What might kill an Azuri might only injure a human." Representative Zoll conferred with the other council members in hushed tones. Then she asked, "Can you demonstrate?" Stella looked confused. "Demonstrate what exactly?" "Your physical capabilities." The Azuri replied, "We wish to observe firsthand." A side door opened and an Azuri military officer entered, carrying what appeared to be weights. The officer placed them on the floor before Stella. The smallest was labeled with Azuri symbols indicating it weighed approximately 50 kilograms, a significant burden for an Azuri. Stella lifted it easily with one hand. The council members chirped in surprise. "Now the larger one," Representative Zoll instructed. The second weight was nearly 100 kilograms. Stella braced herself and lifted it with effort, but successfully. The council chamber erupted in alarmed chittering. Enough, Representative Joel announced. The demonstration confirms your claims. Another council member leaned forward. Human, if your species possesses such physical advantages, why have you not expanded more aggressively? Why seek peaceful relations when you could easily dominate? Stella considered her answer carefully. Because strength isn't the same as superiority. She replied, humans have fought countless wars against other humans. Our history taught us that domination leads to resistance. We seek cooperation because we've learned the price of conflict. The council seemed unconvinced. One member gestured to a display screen showing Earth's population numbers. Yet your reproduction rate combined with your physical resilience suggests humans could overwhelm many council worlds within generations. Stella frowned. That assumes humans want to overwhelm other worlds. We seek exchange of knowledge and culture, not territory. Representative Joel studied Stella closely. You personally may seek peace, human, but can you guarantee all humans share this view? Your own history suggests otherwise. Stella could not deny this. Humans, like all species, had their share of aggressive individuals, but she believed in humanity's better nature. No species can guarantee perfect behavior from all its members, she said. But Earth governments have unified behind peaceful expansion. Our worst tendencies are directed inward, not outward. The council deliberated among themselves in their native language, which Stella's translator could not fully process. Finally, Representative Joel addressed her again. The council has decided to revise Earth's classification. Effective immediately, human exchange programs will be expanded. We wish to better understand your species. A delegation will be sent to Earth to observe human habitats directly. Stella felt relief wash over her. This was better than she had feared. There is one more matter. Representative Joel continued. The military high command has requested permission to recruit human volunteers for training exercises. We wish to learn from your natural abilities. Stella hesitated. This could be interpreted many ways. Was it genuine interest, or were the Azuri seeking to understand human weaknesses? I would need to consult with Earth governments regarding military cooperation, she replied diplomatically. Such arrangements require proper authorization. Representative Joel nodded understandingly. We will submit formal requests through diplomatic channels. This meeting is concluded. As Stella was escorted from the chamber, she noticed the guards kept even greater distance than before. News of her strength demonstration had apparently spread quickly. The journey back to the university was tense. The pilot barely spoke. 2 security officers accompanied her this time, watching her every move. Stella wondered if she was now considered a guest or a potential threat. Amy was waiting anxiously when Stella returned to their dormitory. What happened, she asked. Did they threaten you? Stella shook her head. They made me lift weights. Amy looked confused. Weights. They wanted to see human strength. Firsthand, Stella explained. I think I scared them even more. The council is sending a delegation to Earth. They want to expand exchange programs. Amy sat on her bed processing this. So they aren't kicking us out. No, Stella replied. They're studying us. But I think our status has changed. We're no longer seen as a developing species needing guidance. We're something else now. Something they don't fully understand. That night, messages arrived for both Stella and Amy. The university administration had upgraded their accommodations. They were being moved to private rooms with enhanced facilities. The message cited recognition of human environmental needs. Stella knew better. The upgrade wasn't about comfort. It was about separation. The Azuri were politely isolating the humans while they reassessed the situation. The next morning, Professor Nara announced that the planetary defense course would be restructured. New emphasis would be placed on adaptive species development. The Azuri students watched. Stella and Amy with a mixture of fascination and unease. During lunch, an Azuri student named Kells approached their table cautiously. May I join you? She asked. Her voice contained a note of respectful caution that hadn't been there before. Stella welcomed, her trying to maintain normalcy. Of course, Kells sat keeping a careful distance. Is it true, she asked, that humans regularly climb mountains for recreation? Stella nodded. Some do, yes. It's considered a sport. Kels seemed amazed. But the oxygen levels, the cold, the danger. How many die? Very few, Stella explained. We prepare, train, and develop equipment to manage the risks. The Azuri student seemed to struggle with this concept. The galaxy knows so little about humans. She said, all this time we thought we were helping a developing species. But your kind evolved in conditions that would kill most of us, after classes. Stella received another message. The Azuri Military Science Division requested a formal interview. She was being offered a stipend as a consultant on human physiology and Earth environmental adaptation. Amy received a similar request. We should be careful, she warned. They might be looking for weaknesses, or they might genuinely want to learn. Stella countered. Either way, better to engage than to hide. We have nothing to be ashamed of. That evening, news reports across the university announced the formation of a new academic department, Earth Studies. The focus would be comprehensive analysis of human biology, culture, history, and development. Stella realized with some alarm that humans had suddenly become the most interesting species in the sector. Generations of being overlooked had ended. Now the spotlight of galactic attention focused squarely on Earth and its people. Professor Nara visited Stella's new accommodations with updates. The Azuri High Council has accelerated diplomatic initiatives with Earth, she explained. Your government seems surprised by the sudden interest. Stella wasn't surprised. The Azuri had ignored humans, until now seeing them as just another unremarkable species. Now they recognized humans as something unique, possibly even dangerous. What happens next? Stella asked, Professor. Nara hesitated. The military wants defensive measures. More moderate voices. Seek understanding. You, Stella Carter, are now the focus of much attention. Your presentation changed everything. That night, Stella stared at the ceiling of her new room, wondering if she'd helped or harmed humanity's future. The Azuri now recognized human potential, but that recognition brought scrutiny, fear, and uncertainty. A message appeared on her communication device. It was from Representative Zoll herself. Tomorrow, you will help prepare our delegation for their Earth visit. The message read, they must understand what they will experience in Earth's environment. Stella realized she had become an unofficial ambassador. Her simple class presentation had triggered a diplomatic revolution. The humans weren't feared before because they weren't understood. Now understanding brought a complicated mixture of respect, caution, and fear. She wondered what the Earth delegation would make of the Azuri visitors. How would her home planet respond to being suddenly recognized as a world of potential? Warriors rather than developing newcomers. Sleep came slowly as Stella pondered her new responsibility. Tomorrow she would begin teaching aliens how to understand humans. The role reversal was ironic. For months she'd been learning about aliens. Now, they needed to learn about her. 6 months after the Azuri delegation first visited Earth, the galactic perception of humanity had transformed completely. Stella Carter stood in the Galactic Council chambers. Her simple student presentation, now a distant memory, she wore formal, diplomatic attire representing Earth in official negotiations. Representative Zoll addressed the full council. The Azuri High Command proposes a joint defense initiative with Earth. Human advisors would train our forces in adaptation and resilience, while we provide advanced technology. The council chamber hummed with discussion. Species that once dismissed humans now sought alliance. The revelation about humanity's natural capabilities had triggered a diplomatic revolution. Stella spoke carefully. Earth welcomes technological exchange and cultural cooperation, she said. However, we must clarify that human physiological advantages should not be viewed primarily through a military lens. We offer perspective on adaptation, environmental engineering, and crisis management. Commander Vex, now promoted to Admiral following his Earth assessment, nodded in agreement. The human perspective is valuable across many fields. Their natural resilience offers insights beyond warfare. The Council voted approving. Expanded cooperation between Earth and multiple galactic species. Human exchange students once overlooked, now received special attention. Their physical capabilities and adaptive thinking highly valued. After the session, Stella met with Admiral Vex. In a private chamber, the Azuri officer had changed during his time on Earth. His posture stronger, his movements more deliberate. He had trained in Earth gravity, developing unprecedented strength for his species. Your military trains differently now, Stella observed. The Admiral nodded. We incorporate human methodology focusing on adaptation rather than specialization. Earth has taught us that environmental mastery creates natural strength. Stella wondered if this was entirely positive. Humans sharing their evolutionary advantages could change the balance of power. Yet isolation would only breed suspicion and fear. Engagement seemed the wiser path. Later that day, she met with Amy, who now served as cultural attaché at the Earth Embassy. Amy had witnessed the transformation in human galactic standing firsthand. Remember when we were just exchange students, Amy said. Nobody took us seriously. Now every species wants human insights. Stella smiled. Things change quickly. Sometimes too quickly. We worried about the rapid shift in perception. Respect was valuable. Fear was dangerous. The line between them razor-thin. A reception that evening gathered representatives from 12 species. The central topic, human integration into galactic security. Stella moved through the crowd, noting how others watched her. Their assessment no longer dismissive but cautious, respectful, even wary. Mary Wilson, the new Earth ambassador, approached. These negotiations are delicate, she said softly. Some species worry about human expansion. They see our natural abilities as threatening. Stella understood. The revelation about human capabilities had created diplomatic opportunities, but also concerns. Some feared humans might eventually dominate through sheer physiological advantage. Ambassador Wilson continued. The Galactic Security Council has requested human advisors for crisis management. Your name heads their list. Apparently, your presentation about Earth environmental adaptation impressed them. Stella hesitated. She had started this chain of events with a simple class assignment. Now she was offered a position influencing galactic policy. The responsibility felt enormous. Admiral Vex joined their conversation. The Security Council values human perspective. He said, your species views challenges differently. You see opportunity where others see only threat. The next morning, Stella received a message from Professor Nara. Her former teacher now headed the prestigious Earth Studies Department at Galactic University. The message contained research findings about human psychological adaptability. Or analysis suggests human mental resilience matches physical resilience, the professor wrote. Most species experience psychological breakdown under sustained stress. Humans demonstrate remarkable recovery and growth following trauma. This may explain your historical development. Stella considered the implications. Humans took their mental adaptation for granted. The ability to endure hardship, learn from failure and continue forward seemed normal. Yet galactic research now classified this as another evolutionary advantage. That afternoon, the Galactic Education Consortium announced a new initiative. Human teachers would develop resilience training for young Azuri, Rigelian, and Proxima students. The program would incorporate Earth methodologies for developing adaptive thinking and environmental mastery. Mary Wilson asked Stella to join the curriculum development team. Your understanding of both human and alien perspective makes you ideally suited, she explained. You can translate human natural abilities into teachable methodologies. Stella agreed, though concerns lingered. The galaxy now viewed humans as mentors, guides in resilience and adaptation. The species once dismissed as primitive newcomers had become valued for their evolutionary advantages. Later that week, Stella visited the Azuri Military Academy at Admiral Vex. Invitation elite cadets trained in simulated Earth conditions there. Bodies struggled but adapted gradually, developing strength and endurance beyond traditional Azuri limits. The Admiral watched with pride. These cadets will form our new adaptive response unit, he explained. They train in variable gravity, atmospheric conditions, and temperature extremes using human methodologies. Stella observed the training recognizing elements from Earth military programs. The Azuri were learning human resilience strategies, adopting methodologies evolved over centuries of Earth Conflict, is this what I intended, she wondered. Had her simple presentation about Earth defenses launched a military revolution? That evening, she discussed her concerns with Amy in secure quarters. Do you think we've changed too much too quickly, she asked. Humans were ignored before, now were central to galactic planning. Amy considered this being underestimated had advantages, she admitted. Now we're visible, our actions scrutinized, our potential analyzed. The next day brought news that confirmed their concerns. The Silicate Confederation, a species long hostile to organic life, had issued formal concerns about increased human presence in galactic affairs. Their diplomatic message cited evolutionary incompatibility and questioned human expansion. Ambassador Wilson convened an emergency meeting. Earth diplomatic strategy must balance engagement with restraint, she explained. We must demonstrate human adaptability, includes peaceful cooperation, not just survival capability. Stella recognized the challenge. Ahead, the galaxy now understood human potential. That understanding created both opportunity and suspicion. The species that evolved on a death world needed to prove their intentions matched their capabilities. 2 weeks later, Stella stood before the Galactic Security Council, her new position as Adaptive Crisis Advisor officially beginning. The assembled representatives included species from across the galaxy, their evolutionary paths diverse, their civilizations ancient. Admiral Vex introduced. Her Stella Carter first revealed humanity's unique perspective. Her insights now guide our approach to crisis management, Stella addressed the council. Human evolution on Earth produced natural resilience, she began. But our greatest adaptation is cooperation. We survive not through dominance but through community. Even competing human societies ultimately recognized mutual benefit in alliance. The council listened attentively, some with skepticism, others with genuine interest. Our proposal for crisis response combines human adaptability with galactic technological expertise. Stella continued. Together, we can develop systems that bend without breaking, protocols that evolve with circumstances rather than failing under pressure. After the presentation, Representative Joel approached. Your species continues to surprise us, she said. We expected warriors, instead we found teachers. Stella smiled. Humans contain multitudes. We can fight when necessary, but prefer building to destroying. That evening, Stella stood on the observation deck watching distant stars. The galaxy had changed its perception of humanity. Understanding brought both respect and caution, fear and fascination intertwined. Admiral Vex joined her. The Azuri once believed ourselves superior. He admitted, our technology, our civilization, our evolutionary path seemed optimal. Then we visited Earth. We experienced your gravity, your weather, your environmental challenges, and we understood. Understood what Stella asked. That adaptation creates strength, the Admiral replied. That comfort breeds weakness, that challenges forge resilience. Your species thrived on a world that would kill most of us. That truth changes everything. Later that night, Stella recorded her thoughts in a personal journal. 6 months ago, I gave a presentation explaining why Earth needed no planetary defenses. I wanted the Azuri to understand that humans themselves were the defense evolved on a death world naturally resilient. I never expected to trigger a galactic reassessment of humanity. She continued. The humans weren't feared before because they weren't understood. Now understanding brings both opportunity and risk. The species once dismissed as primitive newcomers have become central to galactic planning. Our natural abilities, once overlooked, now shape policy. The following day brought news from Earth. The Galactic Council had approved unprecedented technology transfers to human colonies. Defensive systems, environmental engineering, and advanced materials now shared freely. The recognition of human potential had opened doors previously closed.